think we're live on YouTube. It's nice to be broadcasting for those who can't make it. We know we have a lot of interested people who want to find out where we are with affordable housing. CHA is proud to have this presentation this evening. First of all, I want to thank the library and Dean and his team for just setting things up. We're extremely fortunate to have this library, as most people know. It took a long time to get here, and we're using it, so it's been great. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the information session regarding Cranberry's affordable housing, updated for Phase 4, Round 4, whether you are here in person or home online. As many of you may know, I'm Mark Bukowski, President of Cranberry Housing Associates. I've been a resident of Cranberry for over 50 years and have been an active member of CHA and the Historical Society for over 35 years. Professionally, I'm a registered architect and licensed professional planner in New Jersey. We are holding this meeting to provide the citizens of Cranberry with information about the current status of Round 4 affordable housing requirements in Cranberry. We will review the township's housing element and fair share plan that was submitted to the state for the Round 4 requirements. We will then explain our challenge to the current township plan, which will avoid taking of a Henry farm and not locating future residents isolated in an industrial and warehouse zone. As a quick reminder of who we are, Cranberry Housing Associates, or CHA as we are commonly called, founded in 1964 and reorganized in 1965 as a volunteer not-for-profit corporation. This is our 60th anniversary year. None of our members are paid for any work or services that we provide. Our work provides a benefit to all Cranberry residents, and especially those with low and moderate incomes. For the past 40 years, we have worked in partnership with the township, helping to meet our original and continuing affordable housing obligations. If you did not attend our meeting on July 15th, when we presented the history of affordable housing in Cranberry and the state mandated affordable housing requirements, including Round 4, you can view that session on YouTube. Just go to the YouTube website for the link. Before I review the current status of the proposed plan, I want to remind you of the income levels that are currently used to reflect what does affordable mean in Cranberry. Average income is defined as 80% of the median. Low income is 50% of the median, and very low defined as 30%. 50% of the housing can be moderate, 37% low, and 13% must be very low. So while people may think that income level is at the poverty line, in Cranberry the income levels are substantial. As we have found out, many of our adult children of Cranberry residents, starting out on their own, qualify for our housing. Also, we find that we are meeting the needs of seniors who are now on. In March of 2024, a new law was passed establishing a new framework for determining and enforcing municipalities' affordable housing obligations under the New Jersey Supreme Court's Mount Laurel Doctrine and the state's Fair Housing Act. Towns must have adopted a resolution establishing the fair share obligations no later than January 1st in order to avoid a builder's remedy. This was done. There were no challenges filed to the municipal calculation of 265 units. The municipality adopted a housing element and fair share plan on June 26th and sent it to the state on schedule. Interested parties have filed challenges to the plan to DCA by August 31st. This was done. There were 4 challenges that were submitted to the Dispute Resolution Program of DCA. The challenge must be resolved by December 31st. If not, the issue will be transferred to the court for decision. The challenges are the Henry family, owner of the farm at 1234 South River Road. Fair Share Housing Center, a nonprofit organization supporting the development of affordable housing, well known and respected in the state and the courts. CHA, as you know, and a private developer, Axria, with a site on George Davidson Road. The Henry family's issue is the taking of their farm by eminent domain, since they do not want to sell their property. They also support the issue that the location for affordable housing in an industrial zone surrounded by warehouses, light industry, and the Jersey Turnpike is not good for planning or proper for the new family that will be living there. The Fair Share Housing Center has basically said has the same challenge. The location for affordable housing on the Henry farm is not good planning. CHA has reiterated the same concerns, but we have also proposed an alternative to taking the farm, better site selections to meet town's affordable housing requirements, and CHA's goals. The private developer wants their site to be included, but there are land preservation issues that may not be able to be resolved. This is a summary of the 4th round plan that was approved by Township Committee and submitted to the state. So these are all the items that are part of that plan, which are all surplus that were continued. The first line item is the surplus. The next item is the % proposed affordable developments. So we have the farm 1234 South River Road, family affordable rentals CHA at Cranberry Commons, and the senior project on 1274 South River Road. There's also something that's pending and not part of the plan, but the extensions of controls is taking what is now 30-year controls and extending to 40 years. If that is approved, CHA has 26 houses that would fall into that category, but at this point it can't be put into the plan. This plan also includes 25% surplus units to be carried over to the 5th round, even though we have no idea what that 5th round will look like. So I'm going to go through each of the plans, and then we can talk about what we're looking forward to. So regarding a township plan, CHA disagrees with the site selection for the family affordable rentals on the Henry farm. We believe this location is not suitable or desirable for future Cranberry residents. Even with landscape and buffering, 130 families will be living in the middle industrial zone, surrounded by warehouses, both existing and improved buildings, on a 50-mile-per-hour road with no easy connection to the village or necessary services nearby. Just want to point one thing out. If we go back one. Just to give you context, this is Cranberry South River Road. This road is the border between Monroe Township and Cranberry. This is the Henry farm to this extent. This is the house. The cows that you see are on this property and this property. They graze on both sides of the house. This is a warehouse, this is a warehouse, this is a warehouse here, and a warehouse here, and down here is the New Jersey Turnpike. And if you've ever been out to the farm, you can hear that turnpike very, very clearly. And this was the proposal to have 6 buildings and 30 family units. With the help of Cranberry residents, CHA has proposed a strategy to eliminate the Henry farm from the plan and still meet our affordable housing requirements. After our meeting here in this room on July 15th, many residents reached out to us with suggestions on alternate site locations. I thank everyone for their input. Besides those in the proposed plans, there are potentially others that we have not really had enough time to fully evaluate. Before I review the proposed plan that CHA has, I want to review site selection criteria as required by the state. They include site control. The developer shall have control or the ability to control the sites. The town's proposed sites are taken by eminent domain. In our case, the property owners have all signed letters of intent to sell their properties to CHA to build affordable housing. Next is the administrative agent, and that will be Piazza and Associates, who serves as the agent on behalf of CHA. They are the experienced administrator that has been handling CHA's properties for the last 25 years and is highly regarded throughout the state. We're very fortunate that Frank and his organization has been with us that long. Funding capabilities. CHA will pursue state and federal funding, including the DCA Affordable Housing Trust Fund, HUD, the Housing and Urban Development, USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, who fund our senior project. Quick aside, if we could do that again, that's a 50-year 1% mortgage with federal government. I'd love to do that one again. And then we have NJHMFA, the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency for low-income housing tax credits. These are the same funding mechanisms and more that the for-profit developer and the town has proposed. Lastly, the construction timetable. Based on the township's responsibilities and fund availability, projects could see construction start in 2 years. In addition, the sites must be viable. The required elements include available. The landowners in our plan have all signed the letters of intent to sell their properties to CHA to build affordable housing. The town's plan, since the Henry Farm does not have a seller, is to take the property by eminent domain, and that's a totally separate issue. Approvable. This means being consistent with the rules and regulations of state agencies. The ordinance will need to be created by the township for affordable housing, as has been done in all prior affordable housing projects and all the proposed sites. Developable. Sites will need access to sewer and water. All properties are in the sewer service area and have water service nearby. That's one of the tough criteria that we had to deal with in the sewer service area. All of our projects do meet that. Suitable. By definition, this includes being adjacent to compatible land uses. And I stress that, compatible land uses. Have access to streets and consistent with environmental regulations. Also, no impact on historic or architecturally important sites. All of our sites meet these conditions. The Henry Farm does not, since housing is not compatible with industrial uses and warehouses. No site in an industrial zone will be compatible with housing. Smart growth planning. All of this meet the state's smart growth planning areas, which is an area intended to accommodate much of the state's future development and is the preferred location for affordable housing. This is CHA's proposed plan. In July, we presented a concept plan, and many doubted we could develop a formal plan. But we did. With the help of residents who provided suggestions for locations, we evaluated many, and with the short time allotted, we have a proposed plan meeting the requirements and our goals all in 6 short weeks. Took the town over a year. This is our proposal for the 100% affordable development. thing we're doing is striking 1, 2, 3, 4 from the project, the Henry Farm. We are then taking our bonus credits for the Cranberry Commons project, the senior project, which is your private for-profit developer and just received planning board preliminary approval. That will also yield 5 bonuses. One of the big ones that the town has taken advantage of, and we're a big proponent of, are group homes. And I'll explain a little bit later. But we are planning 5 group homes over the next 10 years. That will yield not only 20 units, but 20 bonuses. Each bedroom in a group home is 1 unit, counts 1 apartment. So those are very vital to building a lot of families. It also is very vital to the participants that will be living in those group homes. The next is 810 Station Road, which is a 2-family house that will be converted to affordable. And then we have a lot, 40 Neck Road, which we can put 20 units on. We'll take 12 of those units with cap because we can only go to 66 total. So we will have more than we need in bonuses. Then lot 50 and 53, which is 96 South Main and 2727 Route 130, that will yield 64 units, and we need 5 bonuses to provide, to meet the requirements for low-income tax credits. The extensions of goals, as I mentioned earlier, are still pending, so we're not taking advantage of that. All right, we'll start with our first one. You probably can't see that, but hopefully you can see the top. It says Eden Autism Services. And I'll read that to you. This is from the president and CEO of Eden. Full disclosure, I'm on the board of Eden Autism. I've been working with them for about 12 years, and it's an amazing organization. Eden Autism Services is pleased with the positive reception Perry Township has provided to us as service providers for group homes for individuals with autism that we serve. As you know, we have developed 34 group homes in Middlesex and Mercer counties, with 2 Cranberry, 1 occupied since 2021, and 1 that just received planning board approval. Based on our ongoing need for additional residential opportunities for the people we serve, we'd like to expand our presence in Cranberry. Our intent is to develop 5 additional group homes in Cranberry over the next 10 years. Our approach is to purchase an existing house, renovate it to create 4 bedrooms with living spaces to meet the needs of 4 individuals we support. Our development funding comes from the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency, New Jersey Department of Human Services Division of Developmental Disabilities, known as DDD, and a local municipality. DDD also licenses our both homes and provides funding for the day-to-day service of each resident. We look forward to continuing this successful approach and move forward in the next 10 years. And for you who don't realize what a group home is, you don't know what they are. It's a home. It's just a home. Next site is the Cranberry Common. Now this site is already in the plan, scheduled to be developed by CHA. It will be a building in compatible size and height to the existing Cranberry Commons retail and residential building. So this is the intersection of South Main, Old Trenton Road. This is the Cranberry Commons building now. This parcel, the approval stage, has a 10,000 square foot approved building. The developer wants to change the use of the building, and let's say is in a little disagreement with the town, and they would like to just sell the site and move on. They're selling it to us, which again will be a 10,000 foot footprint, and it will be housing 24 apartments. We plan, as we do with all sites, working with the neighbors to try to reduce their concerns. We've talked to one neighbor now, and the concern is traffic out of here, and we certainly can deal with that. And trash blows all over, and we can deal with that. And work with the existing developer to solve those problems. So it's a long haul. At least we have a good site, and I don't have to tell you how close this is to the center of the village. It's a great site. Plus, we have places to eat right here, and I've taken advantage of those many times. Next site is Station Road. So this is 810 Station Road. This is Main Street and Station Road going out to 130. And this is the house. It's a two-family house. And all we do is we'll convert the rents so that they're affordable rents. And we have over 10 years to do it. We're not going to throw anybody out of their apartment. It's when they transfer out, move out, then the rent will get converted. Very, very easy transition. Okay, Cranberry Neck Road. So here we propose 4 buildings, and these will be 5-unit buildings, and I'll show you a picture of what we're contemplating, similar to what we've done before. Again, Cranberry Neck Road. This looked like a site when it was first proposed, and then we found out we had environmental issues, we had sewer issues, we had all kinds of issues. But what we wound up, we could do the 5 plexes and 4 units here. So with all those constraints, people look at that and say, why don't you go all the way to the back? We can't because of the other constraints. But we do meet the requirements to develop these 4 units. And they will look similar. Next. The only thing I didn't include Kathy on. So that's basically the 5 plexes. Those are the similar units that you see on Old Cranberry Street, on Benham Place and Old Cranberry Road. So when you drive down, you'll see and that's similar unit is what we're talking about building on this site. So we'll have its little streetscape just the way it used to. The next site, the South Main Street and Route 130 site. This seems a little complex, so let me give you the bearings. So this is South Main Street. This is 130. St. David's Church is right here. So this is really 2 lots. One lot is the South Main Street lot. The other lot is the Route 130 lot, but they are connected at this point. So it allows us to get a connection, not isolate one or the other part of it. So it's one large project. So these will be now 8 plexes, and I'll show you what that's going to look like in a minute. So we have 8 of those scattered around the site. Plenty of room for buffering to the neighbors, and that's always one of the issues all the neighbors have on every project we've done in the last 35 years is buffering and screening. So we do have plenty of room for the buffering and screening. Plus, personally, I like the Lord's houses, but everybody's concerned about that. In addition to the actual buildings themselves, we have the requisite amount of parking areas for detention. Those are the big site controls. So again, this will, next. Again, our Applewood Court property. I don't know if anybody, unless you drive in, you probably wouldn't even know it's there. But this site is on 130 with a walking connection to town. So the 8-plex, walk in the door, you have 2 apartments here, 2 here, and then upstairs 2, that's our 8-plex. It's turned out extremely, extremely well and popular with our tenants. So all of this information is found in our challenge to the township plan. A full copy of the plan can be found on the CHA website. So we do have the link down there. Go to the website, click on that, and that brings everything up to see all the details. And when you go to that link, this is what you're going to find, and the details will be in the certification I prepared, basically to reflect what the town prepared in their plan to address all the issues with the site plan, etc. So all the details are there if you want to take a look at those. So what we want you to do is urge the Township Committee to accept our plan and avoid any further divisiveness that has affected our Cranberry. need or want a for-profit developer building 130 family housing units in a warehouse zone. And that's in any warehouse zone. If the town doesn't accept our plan, we could be open to a builder's remedy, and that's our biggest fear. Acceptance of our plan should eliminate the challenges by the Henry family and fair share housing. CHA has a long and successful history in developing and managing affordable housing in Cranberry. CHA is prepared to meet our requirements with a concern for the lives of our current and future residents and neighbors. And if you do a little research and take a look at Fair Share Housing's document where they check the plan, they give a lot of credit to Cranberry and how we've handled affordable housing in the past. So I will open the floor, since I know I presented a lot of information tonight. So after I finish my comments, I'll address any questions that you have. Hopefully I can answer most of them, if not all of them. But before I do, I want to address the mayor's letter to residents. There seems to be a lot of confusion about that. They are asking for your support to change the buffer area and zones to reduce it from 250 feet. That's what the requirements are. We assume that this is being requested because there may be another site in a warehouse zone that doesn't meet the 250-foot setback requirement. Reducing this is bad for residents, for those future residents. Putting homes closer to industrial and warehouse use. Would you like to live next to a warehouse? So what the mayor is asking for is writing a letter. We suggest writing a letter also, but our letter should say, do not change the 250-foot warehouse buffer. This is very, very critical. Financial. There was a statement made by the mayor several months ago about past cost of CHA providing affordable housing and how we were the most expensive than the for-profit developers. What was left out of that analysis were the units that were developed starting in 1990 that didn't cost taxpayers any money. When you factor those projects into the analysis, our cost is much less than when compared to the Ingerman and Walters projects. Lastly, I respond to the mayor's comments in her recent posting. And I'm quoting, the Township Committee has not wavered from their intentions. 1, submit a credible plan that meets state guidelines and protects Cranberry from a builder's remedy. The Township plan may do that, but so does the proposed CHA plan. 2, continue working to advance the best possible plan, including re-examining alternative sites that could potentially allow the TC to remove 1234 South River Road from the plan. The CHA plan meets that goal. 3, identify an alternative site for 130 units of affordable housing. The CHA plan meets that goal, except we don't need 130 units. Only 84 units, the amount necessary to meet our 255 unit requirements, including using 5 group homes. 4, protect residents from subsidizing costly land acquisition that do not qualify for tax credits, which would lead to skyrocketing property taxes. We don't know the cost of the CHA proposed properties, but neither does the town. So both their properties will be purchased through eminent domain. The land costs will be high. Litigation costs for the Henry Farm could go on for years at large legal cost and for no direct benefit. And most importantly on cost, there will also be costs to the school with the additional families moving here and building more family units than we require. By taking advantage of homes that don't need schools and building only 84 new family units instead of 130 units, our plan reduced the cost burden to the school. Our South Main and Route 130 site meets the same requirements for tax credits, but will have a higher score due to its location. And lastly, 5, gather, respect, and incorporate public comments from Cranberry residents. This is where you come in. If the Township Committee is sincere in their intentions, then please listen and incorporate the CHA plan. Save the farm and provide quality locations for our new residents. Let's work together to achieve an affordable housing plan as we have done in the past. A plan where, to quote the Fair Share Housing Center, we can continue successful track record of building affordable housing in suitable sites in or near our village center. Now we'll entertain questions from the floor. All I'd like you to do is, if you could, come up to the table. We'll turn the mic on because this is on YouTube and I know people are interested to hear the questions and answers. I guess I answered earlier. Here's one question. I have to say, if I answered everything, I'm really doing a terrific job. I didn't think I did that well.
Can you?
Bottom.
Can you explain the process by which the town could change the plan that it's already submitted? I don't understand how that works with the challenge and what the town can do.
So we are before, I'm going to call it the court, he's in
Mark, could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, could he explain the process by which the town could change the plan that it has already submitted?
All right. So in the dispute resolution, I'll call it court for a better word. So we will appear before a retired judge who is in charge of this, and all the people who have objected, theoretically, are going to work together to plan. The biggest issue we're looking at is fair share housing. They have always been the big elephant in the room. What they say, what they agree to, usually is accepted by the court. We're hoping our plan meets everything they're asking for. And that I quoted, they are very happy with Cranberry's past applications and how we do affordable housing.
But our submitting the petition or letters to the Township Committee, what exactly does that do?
Hopefully, it helps to convince the Township Committee to agree with our plan and for the judge and say, yes, we agree with CHA's plan. Our housing goes away, Henry family is happy, and then we're hopefully the other challenger will really not have any standing. We can implement the plan.
Thank you.
One from the back. Come on up. I know it seems very complicated. I've been living the last year, or I should say, last 6 months worth. So it's too much is up here. It's all in the books now.
Mark, thank you for all your work. Tim Brennan, 10 Park Place East, just 2 blocks down. I haven't looked very deep at the maps, but looking at the Cranberry Neck Road site, one of my concerns has always been walkability to town for kids. Is there a plan to connect via sidewalk? Because everything else that I looked at, I can visualize the sidewalks. Is there anything for that?
Let's say it's a possibility because we're really very close to Wynwood, but from that site to Wynwood is a little bit of a sidewalk. So it's certainly long-range planning. We'd certainly like to see that happen in there. I know there are grants available for sidewalk connection.
And I'm sure this is an impossibility, but one of my dreams, being a scout guy and the rec guy, would be a little bridge to connect across, you know? Get this side of town.
That would be great.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Syed Segatostami, 11 Silver Lane, Cranberry. Question, are you in conversation with the township? What are they saying?
So we have presented ideas in the past. The township really has just published their plan. They had to meet the deadlines. I respect that because of this deadline in June, and now that we had to formally challenge the plan, unfortunately, we're in court. If the lawyers could get together outside of that, that would be great. We'd love to talk about it and find out if they agree with the plan, if they'd like to see changes. I know one of the concerns is the cost. We certainly work with another developer to be sure we can get the low-income tax credits and other agencies to be sure we can fund this properly.
If I understand you correctly, you just said that because of the challenge, you can't have a direct conversation with the township.
That's my understanding, because we're all represented by council at this point.
Thank you.
Come on up.
My name is Troy Wiley. I'm at 36 Cranberry Neck. I'm really curious as to due diligence you've done as far as like just exploring with the neighbors. None of my neighbors knew anything about this plan, and now it's being bounced on us. Not my neighbor to either side. I'm really curious as to the sewer, because sewer would happen from Wynwood all the way down Cranberry Neck Road, either underneath the existing infrastructure or behind on an agricultural zone property. I'm just really curious as to the inner workings of the plant. I know I'm on city water, and I'm one of the last on Cranberry Neck, so there'd have to be a ton of infrastructure to tie into that 40 Cranberry Neck Road.
Yes, so let me try to answer all that. So again, we had 6 weeks to put a plan together. Most important thing is we know we have water, we do send water, and we have to be in the sewer service area. And that's why on that plan, that property, we couldn't do the whole property because only the front is in the sewer service area. So yes, sewer would have to be extended, water would have to be extended.
As well as likely, it would be disastrous to put anything on the back slope of that property as well, into the Cranberry Brook.
Yes, well, again, we have the floodplain and all the other environmental issues to the rear.
But my initial problem is, why weren't we aware of this going on?
Only
Why
because
weren't we under conversation? You said you had conversations with other residents, and we weren't included in this conversation.
Let me clarify. The
On the first
residents,
project, you said that you had talked to neighbors.
the neighbors, that was already in the plan. So when the plan was presented by the town, we had neighbors us saying we have concerns. I said, well, fine, once we get this finalized, we'll sit down. We haven't had those discussions yet. So as we've done with every project, we meet with the neighbors. Everybody has concerns about construction next door. We understand that. So we would definitely meet with all the neighbors to try to answer all their concerns.
And I know it was zoned agriculturally. Is that zoning going to be changed? I mean,
Yeah,
back in the 80s, that was put into place. Are we changing all the zoning?
Yeah,
for
all of their
agricultural land?
sites would have to be changed to affordable housing zone.
Interesting.
Yes. Sure.
Frank Marlowe at North Main Street. So Mark, I believe you've said about the letters of intent. And I think that means there are property owners who have written and signed a statement of interested in selling some land to the town for this purpose. I also think you said that price hasn't been part of any of those discussions. So doesn't that leave it a little indefinite? I mean, if the price hasn't been discussed or agreed upon or part of the letter of intent, how sure are we that we can really get that land when it comes down to negotiating about the price? What's the significance of that?
The significance is the same thing with the farm. The price on the farm, that could be 25, 50, 100 million, nobody knows. But we know we have willing sellers. And by willing, we have to know what kind of pricing we're talking about. It would be that much I can say that would be less than taking a farm by eminent domain. And we do have other properties that we have not a chance to really get into. I have one property owner that's willing to sell yet to be established price, but he wants to sell it now. So there are options out there. The main thing is to get with the court and the town so we can, again, work together to make the problem go away.
Do you know if having a letter of intent without a price will be acceptable to the state, that we have control of the land?
My understanding, that is a willing seller, and that's what you need for the plan.
By the way, you've done a great job with this.
Thank you.
Paddle Grading, 55 South Main. Kind of address what Frank says. I'm the owner of
I'm
10.
gonna a little closer to your mouth so everybody can hear.
I'm the owner of 8 and 10 Station Road. So I signed a letter of intent with you that there's no price agreed upon, but it's a one-page letter and it says, I'd be willing to sell. In my case, I'm not going to really cash in on this. Another issue, in looking at that 580-page document, which is on the affordable housing Cranberry Township site, and I'm an accountant, but looking at the numbers and assuming 30 million to purchase Andy's farm, and then using the numbers that Walters came up with, I'm looking at $578,000 per unit to build those. It seems astronomical. I don't know if people are considering that. Would your numbers be lower? In particular, you're not looking to pay $30 million for the land.
Now, certainly total of all the land that we would need would not be 30 million. We don't have a couple $1 million worth of profit in there. The developer has. I think 5 million. I don't remember the number off the top of my head.
That's the developer's
The
fee?
developer's profit.
Okay, I think that's 13%, which seems, so the advantage of a nonprofit like CHA is you're not having a developer's fee.
Correct.
So that's a huge savings.
Yes.
Okay, and thank you for all your work.
Sorry to come up twice, but
That's okay. We don't have time limits or anything.
that is greatly appreciated. To the buffer zone. that's being- See that? I just-
Quality construction.
To the buffer zone. It's currently a 250 feet buffer zone from the wall of the warehouse.
One of the questions is a property line or walls. That's a little bit of a vague.
Does anybody answer for that real quick? It's out
I think it's no, I think it's from the edge of the property.
there. So not from the warehouse itself, the building, but from the edge of the property. And then is it to the, what are they asking it to be reduced to? From 250 feet to what?
I've heard, I didn't see it in writing. I heard 200 feet and I've heard 50 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yep.
You can say, I think what they're saying is they want it changed so that if the building is nowhere near the edge of the property, they say, what's the big deal if it's close to the edge of the property and it's mostly woods between the edge of the property and the building? I think that's what.
Okay.
What he's saying.
To give you an idea, I'm a track coach. I know measurements really, really well. So a football field is 100 yards, 300 feet. So take a little bit off of that, you got your 250. A quick estimate, from that wall to that wall is 50 feet. So if they're offering, if they're asking us from 250 feet, almost a football field, to the length of this room, that's a huge deal, in my opinion. That's it.
Plus, the biggest issue is it's still in a warehouse zone. Our residents will still be surrounded by warehouses.
Can I jump on another question?
Sure.
Looking at the Henry Farm, across the street, across Cranberry South River Road, there's a field, used to be the orchards and that kind of thing. What's the size of the warehouse that's scheduled to be put in?
I believe it's 1 million square feet.
Okay, so I heard 2.1 million, but more of 1 million square feet, whatever it is, okay.
Because it's being done in phases. Part of it is in South Brunswick as well.
Okay, good. And so we're looking at all 4 sides of that
Yes.
being walled in, technically. Okay, thank you.
Back again, too. One of the things you mentioned, the challenges, and you mentioned fair share, and the township's plan fails that.
Yes.
So failing that, is it possible to acquire Andy's farm and build there, or, would
I would seriously doubt it. Fair share housing has tremendous clout in the state when it comes to affordable housing.
So that being the case, the township has to come up with another point where they don't meet.
Or we have a builder's remedy, and that's the biggest fear.
Okay, thank you.
Pat, my research, which may not be true,
fair share, what they
Their share
come
is
up
pretty
with
strong,
is
Marty.
pretty solid, and we have to think that what they come up with is what'll become, you know,
Yes.
in effect.
And again, that's why, not knowing fair share was gonna jump in, but that's why we had to come with an alternate plan. To have no plan will up to the builder's end. To say no is not sufficient. We need a plan, and that's why we put together this positive plan. Anybody else? Good question. Somebody wants to know how to sign a petition if you're online. Did I have somebody volunteer to hold a petition? They're here, but I don't know, can we keep it in the library? Okay. We'll have to just let people know where we'll have a place to sign the petition. Yes,
I think it's still on.
yes, it is.
Okay, Kathy Janney, 39 Washington Drive, Cranberry. Thanks, Mark, for all your work. We're so lucky to have you and your group to do this work. You have a best of doing this and expertise. I appreciate it very much. Okay, point of clarification. You mentioned deciding the dispute and the date by which that would be done. Can you tell me that date again?
December 31st of this year.
Okay, and then you mentioned that the township could agree with your plan that you presented, and that may help when it goes to the court.
It doesn't have to go to the court. If all the participants agree, it doesn't have to go to the court.
Okay, if it does go to the court, who actually decides?
A judge,
A judge.
a judge.
We don't know. Okay.
I
Another thing-
understand my county, so judges, I think there are 6 judges that will be assigned to these counties to rule on
Okay.
these.
Another thing is, you mentioned the 26 houses which possibly would be carried over.
Yes.
We don't know that they will, but we know.
This is in the plan, and Fair Share has said in their document, I think they misread it because we show up, we say pending, we don't take credit for it, and they give a whole litany, probably half a dozen different issues that if we solve, it could be in that plan.
Okay, so how would that impact the plan that you presented?
We could
If-
take one of these properties right out of it.
Okay, you don't know which one it might.
The easy one would probably be Cranberry Neck Road, because that's 20 units and you have 6 to take out, so that would be the easy one.
All right, and I know this last question is a little bit of apples and oranges, but the township is talking about the farm at 11 acres at this point,
Yes,
right? How many acres would you purchase that are not developed at this point?
I guess I missed that question.
Okay.
So
There's
we talk
one-
about the difference, if we look at Cranberry Neck Road, it's only about a third of that site would be out. The rest, everything to the north of that has wetlands issues and topography issues, and we don't have sewer service. So it's only about a third of that. The site on Route 130 and South Main, basically it's well vegetated. We just clear enough to develop it and leave everything else full vegetation now.
Okay, and you anticipate though that it would be significantly less than purchasing the 11 acres?
Yes, yes.
Just on that farm, which I happen to agree that is a probability. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I know it's a lot to take in. And again, you can find all the details on the CHN website, on the challenge, the other challenge. We'll see whether we can at least get Fair Share Housing Challenge published on our website as well to read that. Because I think that is the biggest challenge out there, is to satisfy fair share housing. I do want to recognize Mr. Henry back. Andy? It's good. So we're all on your side here. And just so you know, our council and his council have been coordinating, so we both are saying the same thing. Family housing does not belong in a warehouse zone. Whether it's on the farm or any other area closer to the village. It does not belong in a warehouse. People are gonna be living in those houses. Your neighbors, your friends, are residents. Any other questions? Again, we have our website, questions, cranberryhousing@gmail.com. If somebody forgot to ask something tonight, I'd be happy to respond and give you the best answers we can. But we look forward, one more.
One easy question, what do you expect citizens to do?
Tell the township committee that CHA has a good plan, and please agree with that plan, and let's get it out of the court.
How? Is there a petition? Is that?
The petition, emails, I mean, everybody's email address is on the township website. Send everybody an email. Let them know that we're really concerned. We want to do the right thing for this Cranberry and a future Cranberry. Emails really work well. Go to the next township committee meeting. They don't have enough people that come and speak. Go to that meeting. Tell them you heard the talk tonight and you agree with the plan. Let them know, please support it. Let's make it easy when we go to see the judge and say, yes, we've come together, we agree on this plan, it's great for Cranberry. That's the best. Let's come together again.
Well, Mark, there was a town council meeting, January 27th,
Yes.
and about 10 people spoke up, urging the town council to work with CA. And to be honest, it didn't seem to get anywhere. And here we are, 8 months later, and we're in worse position than we were before. So, the town council's not listening. Do we have another alternative?
Again, we're in the court, I'm calling it dispute resolution. We're in that venue now, and unfortunately, we had to hire an attorney. The Henrys had to hire an attorney. Fair Share is all attorneys. Let's hope we can work together to come up with a plan. We don't, and I emphasize, we do not need a for-profit developer to do 130 housing units to save the tax money. That is the statements that are made. There are other ways to do it, and there are ways to do it. We've proven that, and if we have more time, we can probably come up with other sites. Yes?
Who is this developer?
It's the Walters Group. They're from New Jersey. They are a reputable company as far as we know. But they are a for-profit company.
I know them, I have a house on LBI, they do a lot down there. I have spoken to a couple of them, and I would look into them. Sorry.
Well, supposedly the town has, so I'm not going to address that. We are positive. We're trying to do the
They
right
are,
thing.
look into somebody who works for this township, who is connected. Sorry,
Okay,
I know
well,
too
I don't want to start to address those issues.
I know.
Any more? Okay, hearing none, thank you everyone for coming out.